Good afternoon and welcome to Ask a Naturalist. This is Marty Calabrese. I'm a naturalist with Cleveland Metroparks, and we'll get to bats in just a minute. I am at forest picnic area, and I thought this was an ideal location. If you look at trees like this with flaps like this, on hickories, that's a nice place for solitary nesting bats like a red bat to come and roost. All right, this broadcast is coming to you live from North Chagrin Reservation. Again, forest picnic area. North Chagrin is a beautiful reservation. It's got 2,200 acres, which contribute to the now 24,000 acres of Cleveland Metroparks, and the entirety of which, North Chagrin Reservation, all that water drains to the Chagrin River. This is a great place. So it is Bat Week starting tomorrow. This is an annual international celebration about the awareness of bats and conservation of bats, just the importance of bats worldwide again. And that's October 24th through the 31st, and it's annual. So to kick things off, I thought I would take that question, are bats blind? And to help me answer that question, I have a big brown bat, a live big brown bat. We'll take a closer look at that, but let's back up and think about bats in Ohio. How many do we have and where do they fit? So bats are mammals. There are 6,400 now mammal species described to science. That's a ton. And 1,400 of those mammals are bats. So bats actually make up about approximately 20% of mammal species. There's 47 in North America and 10. I'll go with 10 in Ohio. Let's take a look at some of these bats. I have some study skins here. Get a look at some of the diversity and size. Okay, whoops. Let me work on that glare. Oh, find some shade. Here we go. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Here we go. That's better. That's better. All right, so we have these larger bats. We have these smaller bats. So what's what? I mean, I'll run through these real quick. We have the silver-haired bat, the eastern red bat, and the male and females actually look a little different with those. And this gigantic hoary bat. Now these, 1, 2, 3, those are solitary nesting bats. Today's bat that we're going to take a look at is a colonial nesting bat. So it hangs out together in a maternity colony. So we got the big brown bat and the little brown bat, which is actually not common anymore. It's actually endangered species in Ohio, like the tricolored bat and the northern long-eared bat. Oh boy, sorry about that glare. It is a beautiful fall day here in Cleveland Metroparks. So, about that question, here we go. There we go. About that question. So, are bats blind? Well, let's get to that. Let me walk my way to that. So, what are bats doing this time of year? I mentioned it's fall, and on their schedule is actually mating. It's just the first step in reproduction, though, obviously, but they're not reproducing yet. They're not having their young yet. So there is a cool adaptation called delayed fertilization and even delayed implantation. So the bats aren't born yet. You don't want young bats, or pups, we'll call them, in fall, because it's soon going to be winter here. And what do bats eat? What do the bats eat? That's question one. Pop it in the comments if you know. In Ohio, what do the bats eat in Ohio? So what's on the schedule next for that big brown bat, now let's take a look at her, is hibernation. So the bats are going to head a little bit south. Here we go. There's our big brown bat. Nope, too much glare again. I'll work on that. I will work on that. Here, hold on now. Our bats are going to be heading south. Wow, what a beaut. There she is, and she's comfortable. And again, this is a big brown bat. And when they find abandoned mines or caves or even some other underground cavities, they're going to be in an environment that has stable temperatures, 45 to 50 degrees, and they're going to ride out winter that way. Their metabolic rates are going to change to accommodate that more sedentary lifestyle for the winter. Oh, she's waking up a little bit. You'll see she's hanging upside down, this big brown bat. So they ride out the winter in hibernation in those stable environments with respect to temperature. then they come back to this part of Ohio. And again, I'm in Northeast Ohio. Oh, hello. Hello. She's moving around. Oh, she's chattering. I should grab something. And they will then have their pups. Now, this big brown bat can have 2 pups. Oh, I think she's chattering, so I'm just going to interrupt myself and grab a bat detector. And I wonder if we'll be able to hear. Okay, I'm going to set the frequency. We'll talk about. I'm skipping ahead. Can I hear a little bit? No, I don't like that. No, that's not quite right. Not quite right. Okay, more on that later. All right, a little bit too much glare there. And they are, as I mentioned, going to have those young in spring. And the deal is such that those young will be ready to go when there's insect emergence. So there is. Thanks for the questions, by the way. I'm sort of peeking at these questions and seeing if they fit into our timeline here. Oh, she is active and she's on the move for you guys, putting on a show. All right. So those young pups are going to need a lot of insects. The mom is going to have to need a lot of insects. So that's why they emerge in spring. Oh, let's just watch her for a minute. And how do they go about catching? And this gets at our question today, our Ask a Naturalist question, Are Bats Blind? How do they go about catching those insects? Does anybody know the technique used? What if I say biosonar to give you a hint? And I'm thinking about acoustics. What's that technique called that a bat can use? I'll start to define it. It emits very high-pitched beeps, 10 to 20 per second. Oh, she's on the move. I'm going to just cover her back up so she's comfortable. We got a nice good look. We had a nice good look at her. Okay. And they emit these beeps 10 to 20 per second. And actually the frequency varies by bat species. So more on that in a second and how it relates to the bat detectors. And these beeps are too high in frequency for our ears to hear. So they are above 20,000 hertz. They're above 20 kilohertz. So 20 to 60 kilohertz could be the range. Yes, ma'am, Brooklyn. Very good. Echolocation. She's got it. Give her a point. Echolocation. That's the biosonar I was talking about. And it's one way that scientists actually do surveys for bat species to see who's present or maybe who's not present. This is in addition to mist net surveys and hibernacula surveys in those caves or those abandoned mines. So they're emitting these beeps and they're very high frequency. So what happens is they'll send it out and the beep will hit something and it'll bounce back to their body. So then they can detect and start to make a map of their environment. So as they're flying, they don't fly into the tree, they fly around the tree. And if they're lucky, they detect flying insects. That's what our bats eat in Ohio. They eat flying insects. So again, this is why those pups emerge in spring, so they have available insects. That's when we're going to have those flying insects. We're not going to have them in winter. Let's take a look at this a bat detector a little bit more. So some of these bat detectors, and you can get these, and you can even try this at home. When it gets warm again, and you head outside, and you point it at the sky. So we have this one. That has this analog dial, and I tuned it. It's probably backwards for you. I tuned it to this range right about there. So just a pinch under 30 kilohertz is where the big brown bat is, where that actual bat we were just looking at was. She was making the little sort of those little clicks. We didn't hear it that well, and right about there. Now, if you're a scientist, you want to be very specific. So you use something like this, and you actually, can tune the bat detector digitally. So that is 25.9 kilohertz, so about 26,000 hertz. And this gets at the frequency, and the pulses of which can be looked at with software, and you can actually determine what species are flying above. And this actually does happen, and you can look up, you can simply do an internet search for you can type, for example, tricolored bat echolocation frequency or big brown bat echolocation frequency, and you can have a range. You can learn the range of what each bat species is emitting. So as you're detecting it, you can say which species you're hearing, or just as importantly, which species you're not hearing. And this then should be answering the question, are bats blind? I want to say they have eyes. They can see. I have learned they can, from scientists, that they can see as well as us, as well as humans. But if they're out at night hunting on the wing for those insects, they're not using their eyesight. What they're using is echolocation. And so bats, are they blind? No, they're not blind. That is the answer to our Ask a Naturalist question. Take a look once more at just the beautiful diversity. If we can find a glare-free, if you're tuning in a pinch late, look at the diversity of bats. And there's 10, I'll say 10, I'll go with that number, in Ohio. We have big, we have small, and they are not quite as colorful as birds, but you're certainly seeing some colors in there, aren't you? Any other questions? If you're tuning in after this video is live, go ahead and pop those in the comments. I'm going to scroll through here and see if I can answer any right on the fly. I've enjoyed that you tuned in live to watch this, and I do want to say that here at Forest Picnic Area, where there's the shelter, we have a bat condo. Now, the species that are going to roost in there in the summertime temps are mostly the smaller bats, and our smaller bats have taken a hit from a fungus that causes the white nose syndrome. So northern long-eared bat and little brown bat, tricolored bat, these smaller bats, and actually there's 12 species of the 47 in North America that are suffering, and their populations are plummeting from this fungus that was first detected in caves in New York, probably brought in from people that were in caves in Europe. So point being, the bat condo here in North Sugarland Reservation at Forest Picnic Area has a pretty high vacancy rate. It's not well used. But sometimes on a hot summer day, you can see a big brown bat hiding underneath flaps on the condo, like the front sign, for example. Just don't disturb the bats. You can enjoy them. They might be in a maternity roost, or they might just be hiding from that summer heat. Some bats like it hot, and they'll go in bat houses. And ask me about that in the comments if you want to know more about how to get a bat box on your property, or how to turn it into a bat house, not just a bat box. And then some bats do like it hot, like those the little brown bats, and then the big brown bats don't like it so hot, so they hide from the heat, if I'm making sense. All right, thanks. We've answered our question. I'm Marty Calabrese. Thanks for tuning into this Ask a Naturalist. I will see you next week with a new topic, just a day before Halloween. Who might I be bringing to learn more about? Okay, bye-bye.